Common Council for July 10th, 2017 is now in session. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everyone would please remain standing as we observe a moment of silence in memory of Mrs. Spitali, who passed away this morning. That's Councilman Spitali's mother. Thank you.
I also like a moment of silence for the loss of my uncle, John Brooks, who passed away last week.
Thank you. You ready, Joanne? All righty. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Here.
Spitali. Kalwinski. Torres.
Here.
Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Warple.
Here.
Rakos.
Here.
Vanez.
Here. Let the record reflect
Gotta be a
7
2.
present, 2 absent. Moving on to reading of the minutes.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Emerson.
I move for acceptance of the minutes dated June 26, 2017.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higgs for approval of the minutes from June 26, 2017. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims.
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman Markovich.
move for approval of claims June 22nd to July 5th, 2017 for July 10th, 2017, beginning with claims dated 7/3/17 and ending with claims dated 7/5/17, claim number 4014 through claim number 4191, for a total of $4,304,879.37. I so move. Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Warple for approval of claims from June 22nd through July 5th, 2017. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Joanne, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali. Kalwinski. Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Vanez.
Yes. Claims passed, 7 in favor, 2 absent. Public hearings, there are none. Communications.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
received the correspondence from our sitting judge, Amy Jimerson. It says Hammond Common Council, 5925 Calumet Avenue, Hammond, Indiana. Attendance request. Dear Council President Vanez, I am in receipt of your attendance request for the council meeting scheduled on July 10th, 2017. Unfortunately, due to my schedule conflict, I am unavailable this evening. I am available to attend the meeting on July 24th, 2017. Please confirm this is acceptable, and I will look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or contact our office at 219-853-6388. Thank you, Judge Amy Jimerson.
Any other communications?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
I have a plaque. I just want to thank Councilman Markovich for his contributions in helping us in Who Got Game, our annual event, and the plaque just got to me, so I just wanted to say thank you, Councilman Markovich.
Thank you.
Any other communications? Any other communications? Communications are now closed. Moving on to committee reports. We had no committee reports this evening. However, at this time, I would like to read the upcoming Community and Crime Watch meetings. On Tuesday, July 18th, the East Hammond Pullman Crime Watch will meet at 6:30 p.m. at the Ophelia Steen Center. South Hammond Crime Watch will meet Thursday, July 20th at the Hammond Housing Authority building at 7 p.m. And the Whiting Robertsdale Crime Watch will meet Thursday, July 17th at Calumet College in room 200, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Also, I would like to announce that once again, the Community and Crime Watch groups in partnership with Mayor McDermott and the City of Hammond will be hosting National Night Out. It's a crime and drug prevention event that will be Tuesday, August 1st at the Wolf Lake Splash Pad from 5 to 8 p.m. There will be a lot of activities for the children, Pop Whiting Express train, fingerprinting, drunk driving simulator, police and fire vehicles will be able to be observed by everyone. The K-9 officers will put on a demonstration. The Lake County Sheriff's helicopter will be there, along with face painting, line dancing, a magician, vendors. So it is a family-friendly evening for all, and we invite everyone to attend. Incidentally, the charity for this year is the American Red Cross. Every year, anyone who brings a donation for our charity of choice will receive a free hot dog, chips, and pop. This year, if you bring toothpaste, bar soap, shampoo, shave cream, disposable razors, toothbrushes, you get the idea, to support disaster relief for the American Red Cross, we would greatly appreciate it. And as I always end the meetings of Edison Community Watch, because community is not just about me, it's about us. Committee reports is now closed.
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman Mark.
question, what was the Pulaski Park Crime Watch meeting?
There is not one.
There's nothing there for July 17th or something, did you mention, or did I miss?
That is Whiting Robertsdale Crime Watch on Thursday, July 13th.
Oh, July, it's the 13th then, I'm sorry.
13th, that's this Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have no ordinance, third and final reading. We have no introduction of ordinances, but we do have resolutions. Joanne?
Item A, resolution opposing massive deportation by federal government, sponsored by Councilman Higgs.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
I move for final passage of Resolution 17R25. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Torres for final passage of 17R25. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman Markovich.
motion to table?
There's a motion on the floor to table the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich to table 17R25 with a second by Councilman Warple. Any discussion?
There's no discussion on the motion to table.
Oh, okay.
Madam Chair Lady, I remove my motion to table.
I unsecond.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mayor.
I'm trying to figure out, first off, Hammond's got 25% of our population is Hispanic. It's obviously an important part of our city. Very complicated issue nationally. I'm an attorney. In fact, I went to one of the top law schools in the country, and I couldn't even tell you, I don't know enough to scratch the surface in regards to immigration law, how it works. And quite frankly, been mayor for 14 years. I've never had a single issue about immigration come up before Hammond City Council or come across my desk. I'm trying to figure out the purpose. Maybe every council meeting we should float a resolution about, abortion and just all these other issues and just put everybody on the spot. And how do you feel about abortion? How do you feel about recreational use of marijuana? I mean, let's just throw topic after topic up here. I'm having trouble Councilman Markovich and I found a rare occasion where we totally agree on something. I'm having trouble finding out what the purpose behind this resolution is. You know, are we gonna send it to President Trump? Are we gonna send it to the governor? You know, because quite frankly, you pass this resolution, I sign it, it means nothing. You failed, this resolution doesn't pass, same effect. So,
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Hicks.
seeing that I'm the sponsor of the resolution, the fact of the remains that there are a number of immigrants that live in my district, and their concern is about the deportation. And I have a strong stance of everyone's equal rights, and if someone chooses to, on this council, to address any political issue or any issue affecting the community or the city as a whole, I'm ready and prepared to vote on it. Whether or not I feel comfortable about it, well, that's up to you to feel that way. But the reality of it is that there are a number of people that I feel uncomfortable with the fact of them being deported and not even being questioned as to what's really going on. Why is this system being implemented? It's a simple resolution. If they want to vote it down, they're more than welcome to do so.
Madam Chair.
Just like any other issue that was recently voted on, gay rights or whatever it is, it's the same thing. You just had a resolution that was passed. The young lady came to a mayor's night out. She spoke about the issue. Councilman Vines came up with a solution to it and presented one to the council, and they voted yes. So what's the problem with saying that I oppose deportation?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr.
Councilman Higgs, in all cases, nobody should get deported ever? Could you answer that question? In all cases, murderers shouldn't get deported?
We're not talking about murderers.
Okay, so murderers.
Murderers should be
don't count.
convicted if they commit a crime of that such.
Okay, but could you explain to me?
Mayor,
You're saying nobody should get
I'm
deported? No, I'm
not
asking a
here
question,
to
Councilman.
argue
No, this is
with
a
you.
complicated issue,
Mayor,
Councilman.
finish.
It's complicated to you, it's not complicated.
It's a complicated issue.
I,
Could you
I feel
explain?
comfortable with
So
it.
you're
That's why I
saying-
sponsored the resolution.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr.
Councilman Higgs, this is your resolution, so I'm asking you a question. So you're saying nobody should ever be deported? Is that what the resolution say? Under every circumstance?
That's not what this resolution says.
Then what does it say?
You read it.
I didn't get a copy of it.
You didn't get a copy?
No, sir.
Have the
Why don't you
clerk read
explain it
it.
to me?
Have the clerk read it.
Joanne, would you read this?
Read the resolution to the mayor, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hicks.
Resolution opposing massive deportations by federal government. Whereas the Common Council of the City of Hammond finds that deportations of family members who have not been convicted of serious crimes disrupts the family, seriously damages children, and makes it very difficult for the police department to get the cooperation and the need from minority communities to enforce the law. Therefore, it be resolved by the Common Council of the City of Hammond that it opposes the deportation of massive numbers of hardworking people who have not violated any serious violations.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I don't think there's one single instance where the Hammond Police Department's got involved in immigration issues at all. In fact, we don't. This is a federal government thing. I have a lot of questions about this resolution.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
my concern is how much of the budget we have is funded with federal dollars, and it's like known that you guys want to go ahead and make sanctuary cities or pass stuff like this, we could lose federal dollars.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr.
I
Mayor.
absolutely agree with Councilman Warple. Are we becoming a sanctuary city? Is this a step towards that? We do that, we're putting ourselves on a list.
I was on the street for 37 years
Madam
and
President.
never saw one person get deported.
I couldn't tell
Madam President,
I've been mayor of this city for 14 years. I don't know a single person that's been deported, ever. It seems
Madam-
to me like we have a lot of things to do. We have a lot of business to do. We're trying to run a city that's 50 square miles, 81,000 people, 30,000 homes. We got financial challenges. We got crime problems. We got little kids getting hit by bullets. And we're talking about an issue that has nothing to do with anything that we do. Has nothing. It's a total distraction and a total waste of time, quite frankly. This should be something Congressman Buskowski's talking about, something the General Assembly's talking about, Hammond City Council, and the Hammond Police Department, and the Hammond Mayor have nothing to do with this issue. It's a total distraction, Councilman Higgs. Let's float one about abortion. Let's further confuse the issue. It has nothing to do.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Hicks.
as I stated previously, This council has the right to vote yes or no on anything that's brought up. I feel comfortable with this resolution. I don't feel as though the federal funding will be cut by voting yes or no on this issue. It's simply stating how I feel and how the massive amounts of immigrants that are moving in my district, and you are welcome, as well as my colleagues, to walk my district and hear their concerns at any given time. They can vote yes or vote no.
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
yeah, there are a lot of Hispanics on edge that are legal or here legally, and they are on edge. And it is up to, at least when I was in the force, up to the police, individual policemen, to make a judgment, and some of them wouldn't, and most of them didn't. But it's still up to them whether they would enforce that, since it is a law. So I believe that the Hispanic community would feel a lot better if they felt that they were getting some protection from their elected officials on that issue.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr.
so this is a directive to the Hammond Police Department then? We are basically declaring ourselves a sanctuary city without saying the words. Is that true? You're saying, so this is a directive to the Hammond Police Department?
Madam
I
Chairwoman,
mean, I'm the boss of the Hammond Police Department. You guys got to tell me what's going on here, okay? Because I have to go talk to my Hammond police officers, 210 of whom are going to be wondering what this means. I don't know what it means. This is something that hasn't obviously been researched because,
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman.
I would feel comfortable if we were declared a sanctuary city.
okay.
Yeah.
Then why don't we just make it easy and just make that motion then, Councilman?
Well, we have to have the.
I'm glad you admitted it.
The proper, we have to have the proper resolution ordinance, which we do not have tonight, so.
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
again, I mean, we get CDBG money.
Mm-hmm.
We have a department, I believe, upstairs that's pretty much, their budget comes from federal dollars, and I don't want to sit here one day and say, well, Councilman Higgs didn't think so, when we lose that money. We've got all kinds, just like you said, we've got all kinds of issues right, staring us right in the face, coming up, and a lot of them have to do with money. Most of them have to do with money. And we're gonna risk it. I mean, if I understand Councilman Torres right, he said legal citizens are concerned about being deported.
That's what I heard.
What's right is right, and I'm sure we can all agree that we're against deportations, but I know we had this subject a couple of weeks ago, but I don't want to take a baseball bat and hit a beehive. I mean, we could be causing ourselves trouble and loss of dollars if this passes. That's why I make a motion to table.
Madam President,
But, there's a motion on the table, motion to table by Councilman Warple. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Emerson to table. And I do need a roll call vote, correct, Attorney? So, motion to table, Joanne, roll call vote, please.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali. Kalwinski. Torres.
No,
Higgs.
no.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. 5 in favor, 2 table, 2 opposed, and 2 absent. Motion carries.
Madam Chair, just one last comment. I know the motion's already been made. If we're going to talk about issues that we have no control over, we should be talking about gun control, okay? I mean, you want to talk about an issue that really affects us, that we have no control over, let's talk about the Second Amendment, okay? We could do, resolutions on the Second Amendment all day long. It's really not going to matter. But that seems to me way more appropriate right now than I appreciate the council tabling that.
Madam Chair Lady,
Thank you.
to
Yes.
reiterate what the mayor said, when we tried to do gun control here in the city and we saw where we were going to get sued, where the only place where you cannot really carry a gun is in this building as long as there's a judge in here. And once the judge is gone, it's,
True story.
you know, so you can't stop anybody from carrying a gun into parks or anything like that or whatever because it's a violation of the Constitution and their rights. So, I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
it brings up a good point in that respect.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Hicks.
as it reflects to gun, you gotta have a gun license to carry a gun in the state of Indiana, if I'm correct. You can't just
We
walk
are-
around with a gun without having a license.
We are under resolutions, gentlemen. Joanne, moving on to Resolution 17R26. Thank you.
Item B, 17R26, resolution confirming the appointment of Janet S. Evans as a Commissioner of the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Hammond, Indiana, sponsored by Councilman Emerson.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Emerson.
I move for final passage of 17R-26.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Warple for approval of 17R26. Any discussion?
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman.
Yes, this is a reappointment to the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission. Ms. Evans was President Caucus, and I copied her resume for everyone to look at. And that's the end of my comment.
All righty. Any other discussion?
Madam President,
Councilman Hicks.
in the future, it would be nice if someone would reach out and see if there's anyone in my particular district interested in serving in that capacity.
I do believe Debbie passes out a list of all the positions when they do become available.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
not true. I haven't received the list this year, last year, and the year before.
Well, I have one, so I.
Well, you have one, but I don't have
I'd be
one.
more
There
than
is a
happy
difference.
to give it to you.
But don't give it to me
Councilman Hicks.
after
You do
the
not
fact.
have the floor, Councilman.
Madam
Alrighty,
President, Madam President, Madam
Julianne, roll
President.
call vote, please.
Markovich,
Yes.
Spitali,
I have them.
Kalwinski, Torres,
Yes.
Higgs,
No.
Emerson,
Yes?
Warple,
Yes.
Rakos,
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. 6 in favor, 1 opposed, 2 absent. 17R26 passes.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
as I stated previously, while you continued to go on and discussion wasn't completed, again, I didn't receive a list, and in the future, it would be nice to receive one out of courtesy. Whether or not I can find a particular person to serve in that capacity is one thing, but the courtesy, as being a councilman, it would be nice to just have the list. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Alrighty, Joanne, moving on to 17R27.
Item C, 17R27, resolution confirming the appointment of Chelsea Button as a Commissioner of the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Hammond, Indiana, sponsored by Councilman Kalwinski and Councilman Spitali.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Emerson.
I move for final passage of 17R-27.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higgs for final passage of 17R27. Any discussion?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
this is a reappointment to the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of Chelsea Button, and she is currently a law student, could not be here tonight, and as all reports that I have say, she's done a great job, so I'm happy
Thank
to
you.
sponsor.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Joanne, roll call vote, please.
Markovich,
Yes.
Spitali, Kalwinski, Torres,
Yes.
Higgs,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Warple,
Yes.
Rakos,
Yes.
Vines.
Yes. 7 in favor, 2 absent. 17R27 passes. And Joanne, I suspect that concludes the resolutions,
Yes, it
correct?
does.
All righty. Moving on to new and unfinished business.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I wanted to talk about the court, what's going on currently, and see if anybody has any questions. I know there's been the last council meeting, the council pulled a claim for Ice Miller for $5,000, which was the second of 3 claims that were supposed to be paid to Ice Miller. We found out shortly before the last council meeting that Ice Miller was using the money that we gave to them in the 3 $5,000 installments to prepare a lawsuit against the city of Hammond, naming me, Clerk Robert Golick, and all 9 of you as defendants to try to enjoin the closure of the Hammond City Court. I wanted to update you where we are currently as of July 1st. January 1st, right after the passage of the ordinance, we stopped filing all criminal misdemeanor cases in the Hammond City Court. All those criminal misdemeanor cases for the past 6.5 months have been filed in county. They go to county division. That's involved more trips, honestly, for the Hammond Police Department to go back and forth to Crown Point. They're currently making 3 to 4 trips daily, back and forth to drop prisoners off at the Lake County Jail. As of July 1st, the Hammond Police stopped filing all infractions with the county. We worked out an agreement with the Chief Judge, Judge John Para, that,
Gentlemen?
thank you. We worked out an agreement where all local ordinances are going to be filed, local ordinance violations are going to be filed in Judge Villapando's court on 200 Russell Street. All infractions that are written by the Hammond Police are going to go into the case rotation system. The good thing about infractions, first off, Hammond Police Department is getting a lot better about writing more local ordinances, especially because they know that they get to stay in Hammond. Secondly, once the infractions hit the circuit, the county circuit, they're allowed to be paid off through the internet, which has never been allowed before also. So we imagine, I was talking to the police chief just before the meeting so I can give you guys the latest information. We imagine most people have given the option of appearing in court to try to fight an infraction or paying it off over the internet or paying it off early without a court appearances. 85 to 90% of them are going to pay it off without a court appearance. So we're anticipating far fewer visits by Hammond police officers to go to court than when the Hammond City Court was operating. Because in the Hammond City Court, you could have been a traveler passing through Hammond from Nebraska, get a ticket in Hammond, you had to appear in court. You know, that kind of stuff is going to go away under the new system. It has gone away. So I just talked to the police chief right before the council meeting today so I can give you guys the latest information. As of July 1st, all infraction cases have been filed with the county. So right now, the Hammond City Court isn't getting new cases, and they have thousands and thousands of cases to resolve still, but they're not getting new cases, so we cut off the flow. I imagine over the next couple of years, they'll slowly wind down. So I just wanted to come in, answer any questions. I know there's a lot going on right now. Talk to you about why we asked the council, and the council pulled the claim 2 weeks ago. And at the time, we weren't really talking about it. Now that it's out in the open, I'm here before you. I know the judge was supposed to appear today. I thought she'd be here. Obviously, something came up, so I'm here to answer any questions if you have it.
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman.
I'd just like to comment what you just said. I have a friend that lives in Colorado, and he left his house, and while he was driving, he put his seatbelt on. Got pulled over because he didn't have it on. At the time he got pulled over, gave him the ticket, but when he got pulled over, he had the seatbelt on. So he went ahead and paid the $25, but somebody gets a hold of the list, all these attorneys, saw where he was out of state, didn't know that he paid it, and they're calling him, I don't know if they want him to be represented by him because he's not coming all the way back from Colorado to go ahead and go to court.
You're right.
So there is, fallacies in that respect,
A lot of the tickets, a lot of the people that you see lining up in the halls, when we were doing blitzes on the highway, I mean, think about it. We're giving somebody a ticket on 8094. Odds are very likely the person that's getting a ticket doesn't live in this area, and they have to come to Hammond City Court for resolution of their case. So, I mean, the option to pay off your ticket over the internet is long needed, and it's now active. The county offers that, so. Any questions?
Councilwoman Vanessa.
Questions?
Madam President.
Yeah,
Mayor, the way you've seen the contract and that, and with the stories in the paper, during this 2-week period before she comes in front of us, is there a chance we could be paying for a lawsuit against ourselves?
I guess there's a chance. I'm not sure what her intentions are. I mean, anybody can file a lawsuit, Councilman. You know, I could file a lawsuit against you. I could make up a reason, file a lawsuit. The lawsuit may not be successful, and probably won't be if I'm just making up a reason, but the thing about the law is anybody can file a lawsuit. Now, whether or not that lawsuit has merit, that's a whole separate question. You know, she sent us a brief, she sent me, I don't know if you guys got, in fact, I forwarded a copy of you the complaint, but you were listed as defendant on
Yeah.
there. It's like clerk Bullock, just like myself. So I imagine if you prepare a complaint, you're basically $120 away from filing a lawsuit.
But-
We paid for it ourselves, that's the classic part.
I mean, my question, I guess, is, we gave her 2-week notice, and I understand people have things come up, but I see something that basically threatens a lawsuit, and then I read something that says, nah, I didn't mean that, don't worry about
Well,
that.
the traffic to and from St. John's pretty tough this time of year, so.
And I'm just, you know, the thought is crossed, is there anything we can do to prevent her until she comes before us of filing a lawsuit against us?
I don't want to file a lawsuit. That's crazy. I mean, then she definitely, I mean, if she files a lawsuit, there's nothing we can do about it. But I promise you, we'll defend it, and we'll also challenge her status as a judge if she files a lawsuit. And we have legal grounds. We talked to her very early on after she was appointed. We felt early on that if we challenged her status as a judge, because she does not live in the city of Hammond, may have an address here, but she doesn't live there, and we could prove she doesn't live there. So if she files a lawsuit against us, we could challenge her status as a sitting judge, because a city court judge is supposed to live in the city, and she does not live here. She lives in St. John. So if she files a lawsuit, I guarantee you there will be counterclaims to challenge her capacity to even sue us. She's not even legally a city court judge if we challenge her.
I guess my concern is, it would be, if one of your dogs bit me and I decided to sue you, it's kind of like, hey, can you give me the money to sue you?
Right.
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, no, she already got the $5,000. Ice Miller got the $5,000. This whole thing, Ice Miller started the litigation, the big litigation with the sanitary district. That was the lead law firm against the city of Hammond's sanitary district, okay? So when I saw a $5,000 claim going to Ice Miller, I was like, why are we paying money to Ice Miller? I thought maybe we hired Ice Miller. And then we followed it up and we realized it came from the judge's budget. And then we followed it up and the description of the claim was to facilitate the transfer of the Hammond City Court cases to the county. We'd already done that. Like, why are we paying Ice Miller? Ice Miller wasn't at the table when these cases were transferred. We sat there with a lot of judges, a lot of staff. There was probably 30 or 40 people involved. The corporate counsel was involved. I mean, there was a lot of people that had to do with this. And quite frankly, I think Hammond got a really good deal. I really do. I was happy. I think Chief Judge Para bent over backwards to try to make it. And I think Judge Para wants Hammond's cases. Okay? So they gave us a good deal. I think all this does, this whole drama that we're talking about now, is potentially screw up a deal that's already been worked out with the county. And it's a good deal for us. So if she files a lawsuit, Councilman, we can't control that. Anybody can file a lawsuit, but I guarantee you there will be counterclaims if she files. Guarantee you. Any other questions?
discussion, gentlemen? All righty. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I received a correspondence from code enforcement in regards to 5632 Claude, because I go through my district and monitor every street alley. 5632 Claude, the property is boarded up and on the demo list. 936 Conkey is going to be on the demo list. 6105 and 11 NIPSCO was terminated last year, and it is on the demo list. 6120 Woolert, the house was purchased on tax sale in 2016 and did not pull permits in the past month for an electrical upgrade. 235 Wildwood, the house is on the demo list, and the bid opening on the property was done on 420. 1128 Eden, we are investigating this in the Senate citation regarding the fence. 611820 and 18 Wallace Road, we are investigating this matter regarding the fence on neighborhood property. 54 Walter and 56 Erie, we are investigating this matter, the issue of green tubs and tags regarding alley cleanup. we're tagging it for alley cleanup. That was all from code enforcement. I'd like a letter sent to to Public Works in regards to trees that need to be picked up behind New Zion Temple Church and also at the property at 1118 Drackard between Drackard and Eating. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Torres to have a letter sent to Public Works to have trees picked up behind New Zion and also 1118 Drackard. Any discussion?
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman.
I can understand what Councilman Higgs is doing, but we know by the time a letter's generated, it'd probably be a week to 10 days. I think if he would just call Gary Gleason's office and give them addresses, that it would get done a lot sooner and they can schedule their workload, that if there's a truck going by there in the next couple days, they can do it, but if they drive by there, then the letter comes out, now they gotta double back and go get it. So, I mean, it's just a suggestion. I mean, you might wanna try it and see how that works, because I've done that a couple times about branches that, you know, because of a storm and they're in the alley, and, you know, instead of waiting for them, just call it in and they know it's on their list. And a lot of times the district foreman, if he's with his pickup truck, if he's got it, he'll pick up the stuff and throw it in the back end of his truck. It's just a suggestion. I'm not telling you what to do, but you might wanna try that too also.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman.
I've done that on several occasions, and I've been doing it for 14 years, Councilman. If I thought it was easier than not identifying the properties on the council floor and having a record of it, so when my constituents call my home, I can present them with a letter saying not only did I call, but I also put it on the list at the council meeting. It's
Thank you.
simple as that.
Thank you.
And you're more than welcome, Councilman Markovich, as a large, to go throughout my district, and I can show you some of my concerns, and you can help me get them done. It would be so helpful. Thank you so much.
Let me see, did we have a motion?
Yes.
And there was a second?
Yes,
All those in
Councilwoman.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to send a letter to Public Works regarding trees at New Zion and 1118 Drackard. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President, seeing the department head is
Yes,
here.
Councilman Higgs.
Thank you, Councilwoman Vaness. Seeing the department head is here, Mr. Button, I'm just wondering when are they going to start on my project on Van Buren from 165th to Conkey. If you could just send a brief letter to my office as soon as possible, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairman,
Yes, Councilman Torres.
I'd like a letter sent to code enforcement. I got about 50 tires sitting on the property just west of Glidden Paint Company on a empty lot there, or wooded lot. This is my second request. The tires are still there. Residents in the 1500 block of Summer are worried about mosquitoes. Mosquito season with the hot weather and the rainy season is going to breed mosquitoes, and they're worried about that. And those tires have been there for months that I know of. So I'd like a letter sent to code enforcement as to why those tires aren't getting removed.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Torres, second by Councilman Higgs to send a second request letter to code enforcement about some tires on the west side of the Glidden Paint property to be picked up. Any discussion?
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman.
when they contact code enforcement, maybe what they ought to try and do is see if there's any businesses that have security cameras, and maybe we might catch somebody dumping with a license plate. I mean, I know it's a tedious, maybe it's a far-fetched request, but if we catch somebody doing it, we get them one time, and maybe we can have them pay for their costs and so forth and that, but it's just a suggestion and comment.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
I was glad to see in the second district recently, I was riding down Councilman Torres, with that business that's vacant where they have the big fence. They were cutting the grass finally, which was an eyesore. And I guess a gentleman from Gary was hired to clean that area up. But behind the fence, I don't know what they're waiting on to demo that property, and you probably know the address. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I did see the gentleman last week over there cleaning it up, so that's a plus.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Higgs, that was not at the Glidden property, correct?
No,
We're
I think that was,
confusing things here. All righty, we're going to stay on
I
one
think that was
subject.
just adjacent to the Glidden.
We appreciate the.
Oh, you're so welcome, Councilwoman Veneers. I'm here to do not just your job, but mine too.
Oh, my. All righty. All those in favor to send a letter to code enforcement regarding the tires on the Glidden property? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All righty, motion carries. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Councilman Torres.
Lights are being put up in my district on people of Doty, 100 block and the 200 block are extremely happy with their new lights. You know, we'll be even more happier when NIPSCO turns on the switch. But Bill Street, Chestnut, they're working on Atlas, so work is being done. I appreciate it. Mr. Buttons, our engineer. And now, if we can just get some grading done, I'll further appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Councilman Torres. Any other new and unfinished?
Madam Chair Lady,
Yes, Councilman.
in regards to the light program, and I know I had discussions and been to several meetings, and we've had meetings with Leopardo. There's an article on the front page today of the Times where Professor Kramer from Purdue has been doing a study on LED lights for the last 5 years.
Don't speak so closely. There we go. Thank you.
Been doing work for the last been doing a study for the last 5 years, and the article did not mention Hammond in there at all, that they're online with NIPSCO replacing their street lights. I don't know what's going on there, whether we're part of the process or not, or whatever, but it did not mention Hammond having any of their street lights changed to LEDs by NIPSCO, and even though they're NIPSCO lights, we're paying to build a NIPSCO for them. So why that's not being pushed or whatever, I mean, that's just a sideline of what's going on in that respect. So, I mean, the engineers here, whether they get involved in it or not or whatever, I know we've got that program for Leopardo. We started it, and I know I talked to the guy at Leopardo that they're going to hire the contractors or whatever, but I also contacted a guy to get a hold of Dr. Kramer because they're going to set the specifications for these lights, because even though they may tell you the LEDs are going to last for 10 years, we might get 5 years, but hopefully, and being that it's Leopardo's project, I'm sure they're going to investigate that and look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam President,
Yes, Councilman Higgs.
I just wanted to personally thank PK, Johnny Williams, Camelia Robinson, and a number of my family members for helping out with Hammond Day. It was a huge success at MLK Park. There were so many people that were originally born and raised here that came home for Hammond Day, and we had a superb, excellent homegoing. And it was just phenomenal just to see so many people come home for that particular day and to eat and enjoy themselves. And just a whole pig was roasted by the Addison family who moved to Indianapolis and came home for Hammond Day. And it was just phenomenal, and I just really appreciate their help for making that a huge success. And hopefully next year it'll get bigger, and we'll do more things in MLK Park. Thank you all, if you're watching or listening.
Thank you, Councilman Higgs. Any other new and unfinished business?
Madam Chairwoman,
Yes, Councilman Warple.
my next door neighbor finally cut his grass.
Yay. Okay. All righty. Any other new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is now closed. Moving on to public expression. Let me see. The first speaker is Leslie Femeister.
That makes it easy.
Pardon me?
Femeister?
Femeister.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
tricky one.
thank you.
I
I'm
know.
sorry I butchered that.
No, everybody
You
knows.
will have 3 minutes. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. State your name and address.
I'm Leslie Feemister. I am at 3823 176th place here in Hammond. I just moved in. I'm a new resident. And what I do for a living is I am a bicycle, pedestrian, and transit advocate and planner. So I would love to be a part of my new community and be able to help in any way that I can. So I brought some materials and my business card, and I just would like to become a part of Hammond.
Thank you. Thank you very
So,
much.
Just leave these here?
Yes,
Thanks.
welcome. Thank you. All righty, George Stoya.
Uh-oh.
George Stoyer, Robertsdale. I just wanted to weigh in on the court situation. Elsewhere, I've raised the issue or tried to raise the issue in addition to whatever possible legal merits there is. I believe and contend that, and I'm hoping that the council's attorney, Mr. Berger, has looked into whether any contemplated action by the judge here about this court in Hammond is addressing a political issue. As a political issue, it's non-justiciable. That is to say, she can't get jurisdiction because it's strictly a political question. There is no legal merits upon which they can make claim because it's political. Your decision was a political decision. You know, that's just a matter of political preference and political will, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in this, as you guys know, some of you, most of you should know, we've passed this way before with Judge Harkin. And it was the same issue when I think his lawyer was Dave Weigel back in the days, and there was an accommodation reached. This time, of course, there won't be an accommodation, but I just throw that out there. Secondly, with respect to some of the councilmen constantly asking for letters to the Hammond Code Enforcement, why don't you try the Streets and Sanitation Department if you want something picked up? Just a thought. Lastly, I wonder about going back to that resolution concerning, I guess, what's the ostensible sanctuary cities. I believe that you guys all too often, not all of you, but in this particular case, I'm going to single out Councilman Torres and Councilman Higgs, that your subjective feelings just aren't enough. You're here in an official capacity. And you've got to have, one, some evidence. Two, hopefully this evidence is used or utilized to support an objective decision, or at least frame the thing objective. Your subjective feelings about things, I'm sorry, but they're irrelevant. What's at stake here is, you know, a political calculus that both the mayor and Councilman Warble bring out about the risks to city funds. Granted, nobody wants to see anybody deported, but, you know, there has to be some objectivity. You guys have got to play the game. And what your subjective feelings are, that's your subjective feelings. They have no place in an objective official capacity. This is not your magic wand here, because I'm a councilman. I can say any damn thing I want, and maybe I can get a resolution on it. And next thing you know, like the mayor was concerned, will our policemen have to enforce this thing? And then there's a budget matter and concerns and all this other stuff. And then it just seems to be it's a snowball. Anyway, I just wanted to raise that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Public expression is now closed. Motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs. Is there a second?
I so second.
I so second. Motion by Councilman Warfel, second by Councilman Warfel. All those in favor? Opposed? Have a good evening.